Hey, how's it going everyone? My name is Morgan and welcome back to Fortnite Save the World. I told you guys when I took a break earlier in the year that if the hero rework was good, I would be making a return to Save the World content, and here we are. I am impressed with what Epic has done. They actually provided a legitimate system that does have some depth to it. I'm going to be messing around with that, but I am back to doing my regular content. I'll be going over the patch notes whenever those drop. I'll be doing news videos and all that type stuff, and trying out some new things here on the channel. But without further ado, we got some patch notes to get into, so let's get started. So starting with missions and systems, a new beta storm mission is available called Eliminate and Collect. Jump into a new 10-minute mission with the storm closing in fast. Eliminate husk and collect husk data, and the more you eliminate equals better rewards. Complete randomized bonus objectives each time you play, and there's also beta storm mission alerts which will reward spring tickets and either hero, schematic, or survivor XP, and there is a mission alert quota still. This will be 5 every 24 hours, and this will not share a quota with other alerts. They go on to say here, we've significantly increased the hero XP, schematic XP, and survivor XP rewards from missions and mission alerts in Plankerton, Canny Valley, and Twine Peaks. Plankerton is now 2 times for hero XP and schematic XP, and then 3 times for survivor. Canny Valley is 3 times for hero XP and schematic, and 4.5 times for survivor, and then Twine Peaks is 4 times for hero XP and schematic, and then 6 times for survivor. They also added here that winter tickets have been retired with any excess converted into winter llamas. This isn't anything out of the ordinary. This is a typical season-to-season thing. Mutant Storm mission alerts now grant spring tickets, and the quota is unchanged at 10 every 24 hours. Legendary Troll Stash Llamas can be purchased from the item store for 1,000 spring tickets, and there is an unlimited quantity available. And they've updated several normal progression quest rewards which grant heroes. This will reduce the number of duplicate heroes received, and players who have already completed these quests will receive the new hero rewards upon login. They have all the UI and the performance fixes and stuff, but we're going to get down into the beefy stuff regarding the heroes. There is a lot to go over here. A lot of this is renaming. They've added some new stuff. I'm not going to get every little bit, but I will give you guys the important details, so let's dive in. So introducing the new hero loadout system. The new hero loadout system is now live in Save the World. Heroes no longer have a full set of static perks which define their gameplay. Instead, they're focused on a specific perk, and you can mix and match perks to best fit your playstyle. They did have a blog go out yesterday that goes over a lot of the details and stuff in this, and they also tell you to check it out here. They've added 8 new heroes to the game. These are rewards for completing new quests, which are extensions of the class-specific quest lines and unlock after Canny Valley Storm Shield 2. There's the Archetype Havoc, which is Soldier, Light Show Spitfire, who is also a Soldier, Dark Vanguard Earhart, who is a Constructor, Conqueror Magnus, who is a Constructor, Forged Fate, who is a Ninja, Overtaker Hero, who is a Ninja, Valkyrie Rio, which is an Outlander, and then Ventura Ramirez, which is also an Outlander. All players will receive a gift box upon login. This includes Hero XP, Evolution Materials, Legendary Flux, Hero Recruitment Vouchers, and Training Manuals. The amount of rewards scale based on your account level, so higher level players will be receiving more. Hero Recruitment Vouchers are used to recruit heroes from the collection book, and they can only be used to recruit legendary or mythic heroes from past events. The other materials can be used to recruit some non-event heroes from the collection book using the standard method, and any player who owns Jingle Jess will receive 1 additional hero recruitment voucher since she will remain a reskin of Enforcer Grizzly. All heroes have been marked eligible for item reset, and all heroes in the collection book have been marked for a free one-time unslot, and this only affects heroes currently in the collection book. Any mythic heroes currently owned which grant a team perk will retroactively grant their team perk. Steel Wool Carlos, for example, and Steel Wool Anthony do not grant team perks as they all combine for the team perk Boom base. Many of the heroes which used to be reskins are now unique and as a result need their own unique names. They've gone through and renamed every single hero that is a duplicate. I'm not going to go through that. That is not a big deal, but we do have some ability balance changes. I'm actually really excited about this. As part of the hero loadout changes, we've adjusted balance game-wide. As a result, we've changed a few abilities balance to bring them more in line with our new models. Going forward, we have a much better baseline to adjust abilities in the future. So, starting with Constructors, Bull Rush has reduced base damage from 156 to 104, and now deals environment damage by default at 251 base environment damage. Decoy has reduced base duration from 7 seconds to 6 seconds, and Decoy now has easier access to perks that reduce its cooldown and increase duration. This change was made to lessen the frequency of 100% decoy uptime in a team environment, while still enabling a powerful source of crowd control. Next up, we have Plasma Pulse. They have increased the base damage per hit from 18 to 46. Plasma Pulse has been underperforming for a long time, and this boosted damage should make it a competitive option for Constructors. And then Rosie, they've increased the base damage from 67 to 69. Next up, we have Outlanders, starting with Phase Shift. They've increased the energy cost from 10 to 15. Phase Shift now has easier access to a significant number of perks that improve its performance. This was done to put more weight on energy management as opposed to just charges. They've also reduced the movement speed bonus provided from 33% down to 30%. Seismic Smash, which was previously called Seismic Impact, has the increased base damage from 98 to 114. Shock Tower has a reduced stun duration from 0.75 seconds to 0.5. And then Teddy has reduced damage per hit from 16 to 13, and this change is to help promote active play while still enabling Teddy builds. That's all they've got for Outlanders. Moving on to Ninjas. For Crescent Kick, they've increased the base damage from 61 to 121. They've increased the impact from 750 to 800. They've reduced the stun duration from 3 seconds to 2.5. And Crescent Kick still retains its identity as a quick stun ability, but now has significantly boosted damage components to make it a competitive combat option. For Dragon Slash, they've increased base damage from 94 to 115. Kunai Storm, they've increased base damage from 128 to 184, and Kunai Storm came in a little weaker than we liked, so we're giving it a solid damage boost to compensate for the difficulty of using this ability. For Smoke Bomb, they've increased the base damage per tick from 41 to 52, and in Throwing Stars, they've increased the base damage from 52 to 87, they've increased the cooldown from 6 seconds to 10 seconds, and they now pierce enemies by default, and they can no longer trigger the headshot damage multiplier. Throwing Stars have been a fairly niche ability, only being viable on a couple of ninjas, largely due to the lack of piercing. To make them more competitive, we replaced the lackluster headshot damage with piercing as a part of the base ability and gave it a big damage boost. That's all they've got for ninjas. We're going to close this out with soldiers. Starting with the Frag Grenade, they've reduced the energy cost from 45 to 30. This allows you to use all 3 grenade charges in a row. They've increased the base damage from 101 to 103, and they've reduced the impact from 595 to 500. For Going Commando, they've reduced the base damage from 25 to 23. For Lefty and Righty, they've increased the base damage from 57 to 60, and they've reduced the headshot damage bonus from 75 to 50%. Shockwave has increased base damage from 91 to 102, and reduced impact from 1650 down to 1500, and then Warcry reduced energy cost from 50 to 40. So we have some pretty significant changes across the board to pretty much all of the abilities that these heroes have, and now we're going to talk about Team Perks. Team Perks are powerful abilities that activate upon meeting certain requirements in your hero loadout. Once you have equipped the right heroes, their power will unlock. Match the exact requirements, or take as many heroes as you can that match the rules in order to gain the most benefit. Team Perks are granted through story events, event rewards, and other ways. They can also come from mythic heroes, and you can find a list of all the mythic heroes and which Team Perks they give below. So for Bladestorm Enforcer, we have Endless Shadow. This increases the Shadow stance duration for each matching hero. Carbide is Underdog. For each match, increased healing received based on how many enemies are near you. For Dire, Hunter's Instinct, eliminations during night or evening grant a damage and melee life leech bonus per matching hero. Field Agent Rio. For Phase Blaster, we have every few seconds your next shot fires a phase pulse. For Link's Cassandra, Bioenergy Source. Spending energy restores shield per hero per point of energy spent. Master Grenadier Ramirez, Cool Customer. Using an ability while Frosty lowers the cooldown of all active soldier abilities and removes the Frosty effect. Mega Base Kyle, we have Supercharged Traps, increases damage done by all traps affected by base. Phase Scout Jess, Shifting Gears, this grants extra charges on phase shift but reduced range. Quick Draw Calamity is Hot Swap, eliminations increase damage for all weapon types for a time, stacks 1 time for each weapon type's eliminations. Ragnarok, Slow Your Roll, on taking melee damage, freeze, husk, and slow miss monsters. Raven, we have Preemptive Strike, for each match deal bonus damage to enemies with full life. Steel Wool Sid, we have Boom Base, buffs damage and critical rating in a radius around base. Sub-Zero Zenith, we have Shake It Off. This reduces the duration of elemental status effects applied to you. For Swordmaster Ken, we have 1-2 Punch. After ability cast, the next melee heavy attack costs 20% less per match. The Cloak Star, Round Trip. Throwing stars return to you after hitting a solid wall or once they expire. And Wukong, we have Soaring Mantis. You gain 2 extra Mantis Sleeps. With all of these team perks out of the way, we're going to jump into the new perk and hero combinations. All of the perks have been rebalanced, tweaked, and adjusted. They said we've also redistributed them amongst all existing heroes. Non-gameplay acquirable heroes will always be reskins of existing heroes, and all heroes now have a standard perk, which is granted to players regardless of where they are slotted in the hero loadout. Heroes slotted as your commander will receive the commander upgrade modification to their standard perk listed below. Note, all standard perks without specific text indicating their commander upgrade provide upgrades to the numerical effectiveness of their standard perk when they are slotted as your commander, and in order to accommodate changes to the class perks, we've adjusted all the ability kits of heroes. Rather than listing the changes, we're listing what every hero now has as their kit. So soldiers have new class perks called Stay Frosty. After 3 eliminations with a ranged weapon, gain 35% weapon stability and increased ranged weapon damage by 10% for 7 seconds. They also have Suppressive Fire. Each consecutive ranged weapon hit against the same target deals 3% increased damage and stacks a total of 5 times. And then they've removed Debilitating Shots. They said as the game evolves, we reevaluate how we design aspects of it, and in this case, we believe vulnerability works best when it's limited to short windows, which create opportunities for group burst damage. Freeze traps are a great example of this. Sustained focus fire is still a strength of soldiers, but by removing debilitating shots, we'll be able to better utilize vulnerability to provide burst damage windows. With that little bit out of the way, they go on to list all of the changes they've made to literally every single soldier in the game. This is obviously a very long list, so we're going to jump on over to the Constructors, talk about their class perks and what they have removed. So, for Constructors, Base is now placed like a trap to allow Constructors to use more abilities. This is available from the trap wheel. It connects to structures up to 4 tiles away. It increases the armor of connected structures by 50%, and it no longer reflects damage by default. Next is Kinetic Overload. When you stagger an enemy with a melee attack, deal 25 damage in a half-tile radius, and melee critical hits grant 10% increased melee impact damage for 5 seconds, and stacks up to 5 times, and then they removed Creative Engineering. While this has historically been an identifying feature of the Constructor class, the current availability of building resources has made this perk much less necessary. We've decided to remove it to make room for other Constructor bonuses which are more meaningful in most scenarios, such as extending base range, increasing base damage resistance, and opening up a 3rd ability slot. And then they once again go on to list all of the changes that they have made to all of the Constructors. So with that out of the way, we're going to jump into Ninjas. For class perks, we have Manta Sleep, jump a 2nd time while in the air with no energy costs, and this grants immunity to fall damage. And then we have Shadow Stance, eliminating an enemy with a melee weapon grants 60 armor and 15% movement speed for 4 seconds, and no longer triggers off of Throwing Stars or Dragon Slash by default. Then once again listing all of the changes here that they have for the Ninjas, and then we're going to finish up with the Outlanders. This patch notes is quite a read, I'm not kidding here. If you guys want to read every little thing, you're going to be in for a treat. So, for Outlanders, Anti-Material Charge is now the default pickaxe heavy attack for all Outlanders. Punch forward, destroying structures and harvesting their materials. This deals 50 damage and 240 impact to enemies. This costs 45 energy and it has 0 cooldown. Then we have In the Zone. After 5 strikes with a pickaxe, gain 7.5% movement speed and 25% increased pickaxe damage, and this will be removed on a weapon swap, and it grants the ability to see chests through walls within a radius. And then we have Loot Llama. Loot Llama fragments now create the Loot Llama in place rather than grant the Loot Llama ability. The Loot Llama lasts for 10 minutes and displays a timer overhead. Our goal for Loot Llamas is that they are an exciting reward, and by locking out one of your abilities, we created a conflict every time players found one. Our intention is that the players who pass up a Loot Llama do it because they don't need the loot, not because the Loot Llama limits their kit. Then once again, they go on to show all of the changes they have made to every single Outlander in the game, so we're once again going to skip over that and jump right into weapons and items. We have the Heartbreaker crossbow returning to the weekly store. You can fire an arrow that drops over time and pierces through enemies, and this will be available until March 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Freeze Trap now applies 25% vulnerability regardless of element. They've added epic and legendary vendor tech weapons to the Llama Pinatas, and this is including X-Ray Llamas for V-Bucks and the legendary Troll Stash Llama they listed above. And then they have removed daily coins. This is definitely a pleasant surprise. Daily quests now award 240 gold instead of 100 daily coins. V-Buck rewards from daily quests remain unchanged. Daily coin offers from the weekly store now cost gold. The old cost was 700 daily coins. The new cost is 1,680, and then all existing daily coins have been converted to gold at a rate of 100 daily coins to 240 gold. And then some gameplay changes. This was also a pleasant surprise. There was a Plankerton visual update, including the lakeside biome, the hiding squad tab from the in-game inventory screen. They said, we're making improvements to this and we will refeature it in the future. The hover turret has reduced damage per hit from 15 to 12, and then the proximity mine. They've reduced the recharge time from 200 seconds to 60. They've increased the starting charges from 2 to 4. They've increased the bonus charges from skill tree upgrades from 1 to 3 each, now maxes out at 10 charges. They've reduced the damage from 230 to 183, and it no longer causes knockback. And then last but certainly not least, we have the Love Storm. The Poison Lobbers are looking to spread their love to everyone and will be appearing in the earlier zones. Love hurts, so beware. And then Smashers reverted to their normal appearance, and their Krampus variants have returned to the Frozen North. That is a lot of stuff going on in these patch notes. We've got buffs to the abilities, we've got massive changes to the hero system, we got a few extra goodies with the removal of daily coins, and instead we now get gold. This is a pretty spectacular update, and I'm definitely excited to be back. Let me know what you all think down in the comment section below, but as always, my name is Morgan. Thank you for watching today's video, and I will see you all next time.